Welcome to another episode of UCRD Reviews. So today I have yet another P-Bandai exclusive. This is the RX-77-3 Guncannon Heavy Custom Version Anime, also known as the Guncannon Heavy Arms. Now this mobile suit comes from Mobile Suit Variations, and it also very briefly appeared in Zeta Gundam in the Jaburo episode, where it jumped onto another mobile suit, which is really interesting. But it's a neat figure, a neat design as well, and something I've been waiting for since this version anime line came out. I never bought the Guncannon from Mobile Suit Gundam, the figure, because I was hoping that they would make this one. So now that they have, I'm really excited. Like I said, it was a P-Bandai exclusive, so it was a little bit more expensive than a normal figure. And it's a small box. I mean, it's nothing crazy. But I wanted to go ahead and get it, add it to my collection, so let's go ahead and take a look at it real quick. I don't think we have a Guncannon Heavy Custom figure that's been in any line before, as far as I know. So this is a first, especially for the Robot Spirits line. And I'm really excited to get it. I like obscurity, so I like this one better than the standard Guncannon. And it does still have shell firing cannons, which have a little bit of side-to-side movement. The barrels come out a little, and then they have a good range up and down. The head looks really good. You'll see the 60mm Vulcans are sculpted in up there. Movement side to side is pretty good. Now the head does this thing where it actually comes forward. I guess I should move the cannons out of the way. It comes forward quite a bit to allow for a greater range of movement, almost a full 360. But it looks pretty funny when it does it. So you have to be mindful of where the head placement is. It does have a replacement dual antenna as well that comes in this set. With the arms, you do have full motion here. The shoulders do come out a good amount. You have this interesting little flex in the chest right there when the arms move, which is kind of nice. You have rotation right above the elbow, 360, as well as a decent arm movement. It is blocked by the armor somewhat, so you don't get full range, but this piece also moves at the elbow. And then with the hands, you get standard rotation and a little bit of wrist movement, not a whole lot. Again, I think the armor's kind of blocking it. With the chest itself, there's no real chest flex, doesn't really want to move. You do have a good downward movement there. You'll see it, the cockpit area moves with it. I mean, for being kind of a bulky figure, that's about as far back as it goes, not much at all. Well, yeah, it's pretty much straight up, so I guess it doesn't go back at all, it just goes forward. You do have hinged, or ball-jointed, rather, front skirt armor. Same with the side skirt armor. You do have the grenade rack right here. This last grenade is removable. Don't lose it. You have hard points for the larger grenades all the way around. This is where the backpack is connected. You have hard points for thruster effect parts right here in these small verniers. And then with leg movement, it has that weird hip joint that rotates forward. You probably can't see it very well, but you do have quite a bit of movement there. The knee comes out quite a bit. I like how they detailed this inner armor here, which is kind of cool. You don't have hip rotation, it seems like. Looks like it's fixed in there. It does when the legs move. You have that armor recedes back in there, which is kind of cool. With the feet, that's about as far back as it goes. You have a little bit of side to side going on, and then quite a bit forward, like a lot. like this comes out, this all comes out. You can see kind of the inner workings up in there. So you have a thruster effect, hard points. So good range of movement. I like that the elbow joints are really detailed, so they look like that consistent ribbed shape as much as they can, even where the area is jointed. So they did a lot of neat sculpt detail, and I'm sure this all is from the standard Guncannon release. Have little shoulder armor pieces, but overall it looks really good. So let's set it down here. We're going to grab the backpack. So this is the backpack. You have the exhaust vents. These two little flaps move around. The thrusters move a decent range. They have capabilities of putting on effect parts. It doesn't look like anything else moves, but it's pretty detailed. Looks a lot better than the standard Guncannon backpack, and it just plugs right in. Pretty easy. And the cannons will come right back all the way and rest to it when they're sitting upward. So the figure itself looks really good. The paint looks nice. I like this blue, yellow, and white color better than the red. It's a little bit more visually striking. And now let's check out the accessories real quick. Alright, so first we'll go ahead and cover the hands. So you have the nice little hand holder here. You have two different sets of posing hands, as well as gun hands here with the trigger fingers separated. And normally I'd call these beam saber hands, these angled ones, but they're mainly for holding the front handle of the beam rifle. So you have a full assortment here. And you also have two of these little grenades. Now these are kind of a carryover from the regular Guncannon release, and they'll plug into here or anywhere back here. I think it was in the TV show. It was in either the TV show or the movie, one or the other, where the Guncannon had grenades, basically. And he took one off and threw it at like a Zaku or something. And it only happened once. I want to say it was a TV show. And so the original Guncannon figure, the one from White Base, came with these, and so now they have them in the Guncannon Heavy Custom assortment as well, although I don't think they're an actual armament. But you get two of them, so there's another one in here. And the only other really like weapon accessory you get that's for the Guncannon Heavy Custom is the beam rifle. It's the same exact one that the regular Guncannon comes with. The scope does not move this way, but it'll move out that way. It'll go all the way down, and then the front handle moves in both directions quite a bit. It is compatible with effect parts, and it looks pretty good. They did a really nice sculpt on it. It looks a little stylized, but not too bad. The scope painting is really nice too. Now, the last part of this is where it gets kind of weird. So I'm going to go ahead and take these cannons off. There we go. Now you get a targeting sensor, which is this piece here, which is painted really well. You know, it looks nice with all the buttons and stuff. I'm going to go ahead and place that on there. And you get a beam cannon, oddly enough. Now, these pieces here are actually for the Guncannon 2, which is a completely different mobile suit, looks completely different, and obviously utilizes a beam cannon instead of the normal shell-firing cannons that the RX-77-2 and 3 use. But we get them in this set for whatever reason. I hope this doesn't mean that they're not going to release a Guncannon 2 and they're just throwing these in there to kind of, you know, tease us and say, well, you're not going to get the figure, but here's a couple weapons. I hope we get the actual Guncannon 2 as a figure, because it's a really neat design. But we get the cannon, I guess. This is kind of an unneeded accessory. It's neat. I mean, it looks good. but it's not something the Guncannon Heavy Arms uses. So, don't know why we got it, but here it is. So next we're going to go ahead and take a look at the effect parts, because it actually comes with a few. So the first set that we get are going to be thruster effects. These are kind of standard version anime thruster effects. They are the curved peg. Pretty basic. You get 2 of them. And what you also get here, which is very interesting, are smaller ones. They are not ball jointed like a normal thruster effect. They are pretty tiny. I mean, they can go in here, I guess. Let me see if I can get one in there. There we go. Yeah, so you have this kind of pathetic looking thruster coming out of there. Now they also can go in up here, but as you can see, it's not really accessible. You have to remove the backpack, which kind of defeats the purpose, because there's really no other way to get in there. I mean, they go in here just fine, but it looks really dumb without the backpack, and you can see there's not really any way of getting it on there. So I don't understand the whole point of that. Now there are 2 other effect parts that you get, and these are cannon firing effects. So you have this one here, which is kind of a larger one, and then you get a smaller one. Now these are firing effects for the shell firing cannons, but obviously they look like beam effects, which works for this release since it comes with a beam cannon, so it looks pretty good. But the reason they're designed like this, and I believe these also came with the regular Guncannon, is because in the animation in Mobile Suit Gundam, they animated them like this, so they didn't really look like a cannon shot. And it just goes back to, you know, being an anime from the late 70s, early 80s. It's just how they look. So they're represented here as they were in the anime. So I'm not going to be using these too much. Now the effect parts that come with the 0080, 0083 figures look a lot better, I think. But so that's what you get with the Guncannon here. So you get a couple thruster effects, 2 of which unfortunately are kind of useless. I guess you can put them in the feet. I think they'll fit in the feet here. And then you have 2 firing effects. Yeah, it looks a lot better in the feet. I just don't know why they included this. So that's what you get. But it's good stuff. Getting effect parts at all is kind of nice, because sometimes with these exclusives you don't get anything. So real quickly here, I wanted to do a comparison with the Guncannon and another figure. I don't have a regular Guncannon to compare it with, but I figured I'd use the GM cannon for now, since it has some similarities, like little rabbit ears back here. Just to show kind of the bulkiness of the Guncannon versus something thinner, like the GM cannon. And the GM cannon has this massive cannon on it, and the Guncannon has these shorter ones. Just to get an idea of the difference of the figures, I also have the grenades equipped back here on the Guncannon. And then another thing I wanted to show was, I have to move the skirt armor a little bit, was the leg spread. I kind of missed that in the articulation section, but that's about as far as you get with a leg spread. So if you're looking for dynamic poses, this might not necessarily be the one to go with. But I just wanted to show that off real quick, because this is a neat figure, and it's a bulky figure, but it looks good posed. The Guncannon Heavy Custom is a nice looking figure. I'm glad that I got it. I'm glad that they made it. A couple things I wanted to add to my review. So the wrist articulation, mine was just really tight. So I loosened it up a little bit, and you have a lot more movement out of it. It looks like there's a larger joint in there that kind of pulls outward. So that's it receded, and then it can pull outward like that. So you have some good movement there. These small thrusters that are up in here that I was complaining about a minute ago, they're kind of a design carryover from the regular Guncannon, because the regular Guncannon's backpack isn't nearly this large. So these little thrusters down here are made primarily for the feet on this release. I really like it. I think the this cannon set that it comes with is kind of unnecessary. I would have liked to have seen maybe more effect parts instead, or maybe lower the price tag a little bit and not include it. But otherwise, it's a really solid release. I like the coloring. You know, it has all the good parts of the standard Guncannon release carried over with it. And I mean, it's going to look great in a collection just because of the unique colors, I think. You know, it's pretty vibrant. But if you find it for a decent price, pick it up. It doesn't come with a whole lot, but it comes with everything it needs. And I'm excited to see the next MSV stuff that they come out with. So they're starting to dabble in MSX, which is the Zaku Heavy Gundam, all that good stuff. So all that's coming in through the pipeline, and I already have it all ordered. So I'm really excited for all that as well. So I will see y'all next time. Thank you for watching the review, and thank you for the support.